Evolutionary biology prioritizes survival over happiness. For thousands of years, staying alive meant paying intense, constant attention to potential threats. This created a negativity bias. The brain developed to act like Velcro for negative experiences, holding them in memory to ensure we avoid future danger. Positive experiences, by contrast, are like Teflon. They slide right off without leaving a trace. In the modern world, this ancient software often misfires. Your brain treats non-lethal stressors, like a crowded inbox or a social media notification, as if they were life-threatening predators. Historically, science assumed this baseline was fixed. The belief was that your level of happiness was a permanent genetic trait, something you were simply born with or without. We now know the brain is physically changeable throughout your entire life. This is neuroplasticity, the capacity to functionally and structurally reorganize neural connections in response to your behavior. Happiness is a physical structure you can build. It requires performing specific behaviors that trigger the brain to reconstruct its own architecture. To override the brain's default negativity bias, you must consciously retrain your attentional filters. This process involves the corticostriatal pathways, the circuits responsible for value and reward. Habit 1 is negativity interruption. Every time you catch a negative thought loop and firmly say "stop" out loud, you physically reroute electrical signals away from deeply grooved worry pathways. The second habit is gratitude. Scanning your environment for things that are going right triggers the release of dopamine and serotonin, directly strengthening positive neural connections. Researchers at UC Berkeley found that a positive experience must be held in conscious awareness for at least 20 to 30 seconds to consolidate into permanent memory. This is the third habit, savoring, and it ensures good moments are actually recorded by the brain. Controlling your attention starves negative neural pathways of the electricity they need to remain dominant. Mental rewiring requires a hospitable biochemical environment. If the brain is chronically flooded with stress hormones, the physical mechanisms for change are effectively blocked. Habit 4 is movement. Just 10 minutes of daily physical activity stimulates the release of BDNF. This protein acts like a molecular fertilizer, accelerating the growth and thickening of new neural branches. The fifth habit is sleep, the brain's recovery mode. During sleep, your brain processes emotions and prevents the amygdala, the fear center, from becoming overactive. Habit 6 is an information diet. Setting boundaries on screen time breaks the dopamine addiction cycle and lowers the chronic cortisol levels that keep the brain in a state of alarm. These physical habits regulate the growth factors and neurotransmitters that allow for neural reorganization. Research shows that even one night of poor sleep reduces activity in the prefrontal cortex, the specific region required for cognitive control and mindfulness to work. These strategies eventually target the default mode network. This is the specific region responsible for ruminative noise and self-referential threat evaluation. Habit 7 is mindfulness. Meditation physically shrinks the amygdala while strengthening the rational prefrontal cortex, decreasing the brain's baseline sensitivity to stress. Habit 8 involves acts of kindness. Dedicating energy to helping others provides the brain with a reliable, evolutionarily backed boost to your happiness baseline. Habit 9 is meaningful connection. The brain processes social loss using the same neural circuits as physical pain. Social bonds trigger oxytocin, which buffers against that stress. The 10th habit is flow. Engaging deeply in a hobby pulls your focus outward, anchoring the brain in the present moment and halting the ruminative noise of the default mode network. Silencing these internal threat systems shifts the brain from a defensive, self-protective posture into an expansive, outward-facing state. Knowing these habits is one thing, implementing them is another. Relying on willpower is usually a mistake because willpower is a finite resource that eventually fails. The basal ganglia only records repeatable recipes, a loop of cue, routine, and reward. To bypass resistance, use habit stacking to anchor new behaviors to existing routines. For example, after pouring morning coffee, immediately write one sentence in a journal. The behavior must be scaled down so small that it feels effortless. This allows the new routine to slip past the brain's resistance without triggering a stress response. Happiness is an architecture you actively construct. By stacking these behaviors, you convert passing moments of contentment into permanent neural structures, physical changes that eventually become your brain's new default.